Hello there, friends. It's Mr. Matt here with your children's sermon for today, Christ the King Sunday. Now, on Christ the King Sunday, we stop and we remember something very important about Jesus. And what we're remembering today is that God has set Jesus to be the king of his kingdom. That Jesus is the king over us, and that as his followers, he's not just our teacher, he's not just our healer, but he is our ruler, he is our king. And in our Jesus story today, we get a glimpse at the type of kingdom that Jesus is trying to build and that Jesus thinks is important. Now, if you imagine someone being a king and having a kingdom, one of the things that kings get to decide is the rules of who gets to come into that kingdom, who gets to be part of their kingdom, who gets to come in the castle, if you will. Now, in our Jesus story, we have Jesus as the king, and it's described as all of the nations of the world come before him. All of the nations of the world acknowledge that he's the king, but Jesus as king is deciding who's going to come into his kingdom. And as he looks out among all of the people, he divides them into two groups. Now, one group is described as the sheep, and another group is described as the goats. And he looks out and he says to the group that's the sheep, and he says, "You have done a wonderful job of serving me, and because of that, I welcome you into the kingdom. I welcome you into the castle." But to the people that are in the goat group, he says, "But you have not served me, so you are not welcome in the kingdom." Now, the people that are in the goat group and the people that are in the sheep group seem to be a little confused by this. And so the sheep group, they say, "Excuse me, Lord, when did we serve you? We don't remember serving you." And Jesus tells them, "Oh, you served me very well. Every time you fed the hungry, every time you clothed the poor, every time you showed compassion for prisoners or took care of orphans and widows, every time that you showed love and mercy to others, it was just like you were serving me when you served them, and you served them well. So come into the kingdom." And the people in the goat group, they say, "Well, wait a minute, Lord, when did we not serve you? When did we deny you anything?" And the king says to them, "Every time you failed, every time you didn't help someone in need, every time you didn't feed the hungry, every time you didn't take care of prisoners and widows and orphans, every time that you were more interested in your needs than in the needs of others, you were not serving me. And you haven't served me, so you can't come into my kingdom." In this story, we see Jesus telling us what is the most important thing for people who follow him and for people that want to become part of God's kingdom. It's that we love other people, that we show them mercy and compassion, and that we step out of ourselves and don't just think about what we need, but instead think about what is it that other people need? How can I show them love? How can I give them a glimpse of what God's kingdom is going to be like? And the key to that kingdom is love and mercy. Just as Jesus shows us love and mercy, that's what we do for others. And we learn in this story that every time we do that, every time we love someone, every time we serve them, every time we help them and show them compassion, when we do that, it's just like we're doing it for Jesus. We never know where Jesus is or what Jesus is doing or watching. And we never know if he's watching us in that moment when we're helping someone else. But we don't live wondering if Jesus is watching or wondering if Jesus is noticing what we're doing. We just live as disciples where we do this all of the time. As disciples, we show love and compassion and mercy all of the time. It's not about what we think. It's about what Jesus thinks and what Jesus wants. And that's how we live. And we do that so that on the day when we do meet Jesus, when we do meet the King, he's able to say to us, "You've been a good sheep. You've served me so faithfully. Welcome into the kingdom." Happy Christ the King Sunday. Until next time, remember how much God loves you. Remember how much your parish family loves you and misses you. And remember how much I love you too. All right. Bye-bye for now.